Hi everyone, welcome to this next video. Today we're going to go through setting up this Zap. When a new contact is added to Google Sheets, create the record in HubSpot. So we previously did another video where we introduced the concept of objects in HubSpot, and this is quite important for you to understand if you want to set up these Zaps. So I strongly advise you check out the first video, which is when you create a new deal in HubSpot, then create a new deal row in Google Sheets. And this can be used under any sort of similar circumstances. Maybe it's a new contact, it's a new company record. It can be any kind of new thing you're creating in HubSpot. The same logic applies. And then if you want to create that record in another system using Zapier. So for example, creating a new row in a Google Sheet or an Airtable sheet, or it might be adding the contact into Zendesk or another third-party system outside of HubSpot, we can use Zapier to do that. And so in this case, the first video that you can check out goes into detail about how to do that. And it also goes into detail explaining what the HubSpot objects are and how you can have contacts and companies and deals and their relationships as associations in HubSpot. So please check that out. I will skip that section in this video. So assuming you've already watched that. So please make sure you go and watch that. Otherwise it might be a bit confusing if you don't have any experience with objects and HubSpot objects and associations. Check out that video. So in this video, we're going to go through this example number 2, where we create kind of the reverse of the first video, where we create a new row in Google Sheets, and that's then going to create a new contact record in HubSpot. And this is quite simple. We're going to add a bit more complexity to this, and I'm going to also have the contact associated to a company in this process as well. So we'll have a new contact with a company, and that's going to create a new contact record. So to start with, let's create our Google Sheet. Let me jump into that here. So I created this one for the last Zap, which is the new deals via Zapier. I'm going to clone this one, or copy this one, and we're going to call this new contacts for HubSpot via Zapier. There we go. I'll close this first one. And now because contacts, we want these to all be different. So obviously it's going to be, we're going to have the contact. I think we go contact ID. I guess we won't have a contact ID because it's a HubSpot ID and we're creating them from scratch. So let me drag this over here. I'm going to delete all this so it doesn't get confusing. And we'll get rid of the deal information. Let's get rid of all this. Now it's important to note this Zap is going to only work when a new contact row is created. It'll create a new contact record. We also, because the contacts often there'll be duplicates and the like, and we don't want to have any duplicates, I'm going to add in some other steps here to make this both create a new contact and also update existing contact if they exist. So we're going to say create or update. Create, update contact. That's going to be based on the contact's email address as well, like that. So new contact row will create or update the contact. That's just in case we add the contact twice, let's say. So that's like a little insurance policy. So then we've got contact email. We're going to, I'll drag that over. We're going to have a company name that they're associated with. And we'll also need the company domain. So then we'll also add the create date. Do we need that? No, probably not. Okay, let's delete all this information. And what other details might we need for the contact? Let's say we also want to have phone number. Might want to have mobile or cell phone. Might want to have country. Maybe LinkedIn URL. Any other details you might have, let's say. So now we've got these, and let's add some fake information. So let's say John Smith, J Smith at Microsoft.com. I'm going to steal that domain, put that over here. Got the company name. I'll get rid of all this here. Like that. And then we have his phone number, mobile number, country, say Australia, LinkedIn, J. Smith, micro, like so. Okay, so we've got the details in here. And now let's jump into Zapier. And just jumping back into HubSpot, this will be added as a contact here. And as you can see, for example, for 10L, we've got the relationship. Where is the company? Let's see. So we have the company if we click on that, but also let me add a column for company, associated company, like that. Let's move that to the top, like that. Cool. So we can see he's associated to this company here. So we want Microsoft like that as well. And so we're going to create this association. So then let's go into this. This is the Zap we created before. And we're going to create a new Zap. So instead of that, we're going to say new Google Sheet row. And then we're going to say search. We'll say update, create, or update contact. And make association to company in HubSpot. Let's see if it can work that out for the AI. Okay, so Google Sheets, new row, create or update contact, add contact to workflow. That's not what we want, but maybe we can add contact to list. Okay, it hasn't done it, but we'll still start with this. And maybe if I was to improve my prompt, it might do better, but let's just jump straight in. So new spreadsheet. So we choose our account. Continue. We choose our spreadsheet. So the one we just created. New contacts via HubSpot. New contacts for HubSpot via Zapier. Worksheet, sheet 1. Click continue. Test trigger. We got our first example one there, J. Smith. Click continue. Choose our HubSpot account. Continue. Okay, so now here we have the contact email. So we're going to create or update a contact. So this is a nice action step for HubSpot in Zapier. We don't have to separate these out. We can do it together. So it'll either create or it will update. And the way it does that is it searches based on the email address. So if the email address already exists in HubSpot, it'll just simply update that contact. But if it doesn't exist in HubSpot, it'll create a new contact. So we've got the contact email, and then we just have to find the other properties we want to update. So we've got to update first name, last name, phone, mobile, country, LinkedIn. So let's find all those. So I find it faster just to search, because with HubSpot, it'll add a lot. It'll show you all the properties, and there's a lot of them usually. So we've got first name like that, last name like that, last name. There we go. What are our other values? We've got phone, mobile, country, LinkedIn. Okay, phone. That's mobile phone. We'll add that first. LinkedIn. Oops, phone. It's interesting. Google has automatically gotten rid of my zeros, which it does. You've got to be really careful with phone numbers. So let me just change the formatting here to plain text. It's too late now because I've already pulled in this data, so I won't bother redoing it, but I'm just going to put this here just for now. Okay, and then we've got numbers and LinkedIn. Let's look for our LinkedIn. That's the bio, that's the connections. LinkedIn ID, I think that's what we're looking for. So we put that in there. And did we say country? I've got an old record here. Actually, country is a drop down. I previously added this in as a drop down. That's a bit more complicated. I'll do another video about that, but for the sake of simplicity for this one, I'm going to use my old text country record, country property here. So it can be text-based, but there's another process if we wanted to add in from a drop-down. So I'll do another video about that because that's going to take a bit more time. So in this case, we're just doing text-only field like this. And is that everything? And then we just need to create the association to the company as well. So we can add the company name, which exists under the contact record, but this is not the association. This is just a text box, basically. So it's not going to create the association we want, but I'll add it in there anyway. And I can also add the URL while I'm here as well. So let's drop that in. But again, this isn't going to be the association. This is all a contact object record. So we continue. Let's test this step. Like so. And it looks like it's worked. Let's have a look at our contacts. Refresh this. We got him, John Smith. Oh, and it's created the record. I think because I already have this company in the system. No, I think it's done it automatically. Okay, well, that's nice and easy, isn't it? So what I was going to do is create another step, but it looks like HubSpot is automatically creating this. Let's say we need to update this record for Microsoft. Let's say we want to call it Microsoft Australia instead. So let's say this says Microsoft Australia. Like that. So let's go back to the Zap. But you could just stop here if you just want to keep it simple. But let's say we want to also update the company because maybe the company in this line, the company detail is more accurate than what already exists in HubSpot. So we want to add another step. Let me test this trigger again so we can pull that record again with the new Microsoft Australia information. And so we're going to update the association as well. So we've got to find the associated record. So let's add HubSpot here. We're going to look for the association for this contact. And we're going to do the contact ID. That's what we're going to use. Let me see if I can pull that in. VID. Let's check that. VID. It's this number here. So 25851. Looks like we can use that. I think they're both equally valid. And so we grab that ID and we're going to search the contact. That's the contact ID we're searching. We just want one association and we're going to find the company. And if nothing's found, it's still okay. Can be considered a success. Well, we don't need to continue the Zap after that point if it's not found. So let's say no. And let's say continue, test step. And then it's pulled the contact ID, the company ID. And so now we do another HubSpot step. And we update that company ID. Let's type in company and we're going to update a company. Like this. The object is that ID that we just got, like so. And we're going to update the company name. Let me just do a quick find. So we're going to pull that from that spreadsheet. Company name Microsoft Australia. We could also update other details, but we don't really have any others we want to update here. And so we'll just leave it like that. And if you're missing, same as before, but if you're missing a property here, we can also pull in other properties we want to get for this update process. Let's test that step. Like that. Continue. This was in the AI added this. We don't need this step, so I'll delete that one, that action. And now let's go back to John Smith. Let's refresh the association. You can see here, Microsoft Australia. Very good. We can also see that his contact is updated here. That's the property company name. And if we have a look at that company name record, oh, here it is. That's the company name that was associated when we first set up the Zap. And so it hasn't updated that because that's the contact record company name. But if we were to run this Zap again, that step, if we go here, create update contact, because I only ran the individual step when I'm setting up this Zap, because the Zap is still turned off. So if I also run this individual step, we'll find that it's going to update the company name as well. So if we click continue, we retest this step, because that's what's in the Google Sheet. It will also update that company name. Let's go back to that. We go down to view all properties. And we look up his contact company name. We can see here under details that it's been updated by this Zapier integration like that. So that's it. It's pretty straightforward. A few steps you can see here. So we have the new row in Google Sheets. It creates or update the contact in HubSpot. It looks for the company association, and then we'll update the company in HubSpot as well. So the last step, we need to turn this Zap on, publish it. And I also like to add a number so I keep track. Let's close that for a sec. So I can just add 0102 because I have 0101 before. This is just my own system. Have your own, feel free to use any numbering or naming conventions to keep track of all your different Zaps. And now I have that turned on, I can test it out. So let's add a new row here. James Johnson, JJ at google.com. And we add Google. And we add google.com. We have the phone number with a 0. We have the mobile number. We have the country and LinkedIn. There we have that detail. Now this may or may not work. Let's see, because the trigger is based on any new row. So any data added into this might trigger the step for a new row. Normally you would have another system adding a row into Google Sheets. You might have a form like Facebook lead forms, Google Ads, something like that, and that will add the row all in one action. So when you're manually adding it, it may not function correctly. It'll definitely work when you're using another system to populate a Google Sheet row, like another Zap or, for example, Facebook ads. But let's see what happened. So we jump back to the Zap, we look at the Zap runs, and we can refresh this. And we can see here, the Zap has started running. Let's have a look. Okay, it looks like it's gone through. Now let's have a look at our HubSpot account. Go back to contacts. And who did we add in? We've got this email address. Let's do a search. Let's type it in here. Great. So it looks like it's been added. James Johnson been added in and as a record here. It's all been added. If we look at the email, let's look at details. We can see it's come through the Zapier integration. Very straightforward. HubSpot's picked up, this is a fake email basically. It's bounced globally, but that's all good. And we have the association with Google, like so. So that's really nice. So let's do one more test. And let's add this, except let's try and type in Google Australia. I don't know if that's going to work. And we can see if that runs again. So we go back to our Zap runs and let's refresh this. And we refresh this and we can see the Zap has run again. And let's have a look. So what's interesting about rerunning this, or like having this new row, is that everything is the same for this third row as the second row. So the contact is the same. So it shouldn't create a new contact and it shouldn't create a new company because the domain is the same. It should only update the contact. And in this case, there's no changes to the contact record, and update the associated company name to Google AU. So let's have a look. So we can see this is the contact. If we refresh this, that's great. We can see that everything is still the same, but we now have the company name has been updated. If we go into the company and we look at the company name property, we can see, yes, excellent. So we can see that the first time it was pulled, the company name was pulled from the company insights database. Sorry, the HubSpot company insights database. So this is from HubSpot's data. And then it was then overwritten the second time by the Zap running and updating the information to be more correct. That's perfect. So that's exactly what we want to see happen. So that's it for the Zap setup. So we've set up, so the new contact will then create and update the contact and the company record here in the Zap. Let me know what you think, whether this is helpful for you. If it is helpful, please let me know by liking the video. Feel free to comment, ask any questions. And also, if you want to see more videos like this, please subscribe to this channel, and I'll be sharing more content about HubSpot, about Zapier, and how to set up automations to make your business run smoother. Thanks very much for watching. Look forward to hearing from you, and see you in the next video. Cheers. Bye.